Alright everyone, so for today I wanted to talk about the camo grind for Black Ops 6 zombies and some of my favorite methods that you might find to be beneficial to use as well. This spans across all of the maps in the game now, including the tomb. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you can stay up to date with all the latest content. Alright, let's just get right into it. So the first method I wanted to talk about is actually for the tomb, which is the new map in Black Ops 6 Zombies. There's no directed mode right now, which might make the job a little bit harder, but what you want to do is you want to load into a match and you want to turn on the rampage inducer because we want to get to round 6 or 7 as fast as possible. At around round 4 or 5, I would say turn the rampage inducer off, finish up the last round or 2. Once you've gathered enough essence and scrap, you're going to want to open the doors and enter the subterranean level where you'll interact with this crystal and it should place an amulet there. After that, you want to enter the dark ether nexus. So this method is probably going to be the longest on this list, not in terms of how long it takes to get, but in terms of how long it actually takes to grind through. However, what you'll want to do is actually stick to the dark ether nexus the entire time. The reason being is that there are these narrow corridors that are like hallways between the rocks here that we want to use for camo grinding, because what'll happen is that as you're running around, you're training the zombies, they're obviously going to be running behind you. I recommend you just keep running sort of in circles around the area until the zombies sort of all spawn in and gather themselves in a big grouping close to you. At that point, you'll want to start running in an open direction towards one of these hallway-like paths. The zombies are going to file in behind you and eventually they're literally going to form a sort of single line right to you. Then you can just start nailing them with headshot after headshot and you get a ton of critical kills really easily. You're going to have to keep going up higher and higher rounds, but as a process, it is significantly easier than you might think. What's nice also about the tomb is that the Wonder Fizz machine is going to spawn in on round 25 in the Dark Ether Nexus. So once you hit round 25, you can load up on whatever perks you want to load up on from the one machine. You're going to want to keep doing this for the critical kills, and the nice thing about the tomb is that you're also guaranteed after a certain level to get basically a special zombie every round, and there's 2 special zombies which are Doppelgasts and Shock Mimics, so you got 2 different types of zombies to use for your special zombie kills. So if you gotta farm special zombie kills, just stay inside the tomb and keep doing it in the same location while getting mystic gold on other weapons that you need to grind. So this is something to note. The higher you go, the more you're also gonna likely get elite zombies like amalgams, which you can use if you're on Nebula already or if you get to Nebula at some point. The next one I want to talk about is the Liberty Falls method, which requires you to go to one specific location, which is the rooftop that you zipline to from the church courtyard. The rooftop is going to be the most tedious and probably the most boring version of the camo grind you can find, but I'm mentioning it because I do like to give options, and doing the same thing over and over again is obviously bound to be boring. So if you want to switch gears and try a few different methods in one sitting, you definitely can. The Liberty Falls method is tedious for a couple of reasons, namely because you're going to have to do the same thing the entire time, and that's just boring, but also because it's in directed mode, which means the quantity of zombies is basically going to be the same thing over and over and over until you're done with a single weapon. It's just a longer process than most, so that is something to note. You'll want to get up to round 7, 9, or 11 on Liberty Falls depending on what stage in the camo grind you're at. Round 11 is only if you need the special zombie kills, round 9 is anything before that. Stay on the rooftop the entire time without opening any of the other doors. In directed mode, the Wonder Fizz machine is going to be up on that roof as well, so you can grab something like a Deadshot Daiquiri, Speed Cola, Stamina Up, those sorts of things to make the process feel a little bit faster because you're going to be reloading a lot. You can also memorize the zombie spawn points, they're not that many, and you'll be guaranteed to get manglers basically every time once you hit round 11, so you can farm special zombie kills at the same time as you're grinding a mystic gold weapon, basically if you're going for opal at this point. You can also pack-a-punch your gun to get kills faster if you want, but you may not want to pack-a-punch every weapon, like ones with explosive ammo, so that you don't find yourself at a disadvantage for critical kills, but at some point you'll need to pack-a-punch for some guns and things like that. And also when you get to a point where you need to get a certain amount of kills as many times as possible, those sorts of things, having the explosive ammo is perfectly fine. The next camo grind method on Liberty Falls is basically to just literally play through standard mode up to about round 30. Just keep farming critical kills the entire time you're playing. Stick around the spawn area, train the zombies as well in the spawn area, and get them to sort of chase you towards that first door that you see on the right when you spawn in. This process is going to take more time just because you have to play standard matches, but it is a lot easier than you might think if you're used to going higher and higher rounds in zombies. After this, you can exfil or just save and quit and end the match, start a new match, those sorts of things. This isn't my favorite method of all time just because you're going to have to actually deal with abominations and you have to deal with manglers and things like that when you really might not want to. But if you find yourself bored of the other methods, you just want to play a little bit of standard, you want to get a higher and higher difficulty each time, this method works as well. So what are the easier methods on this list that takes more time to get to, but is easy once you get to it, is to play on Terminus either in standard or directed. Directed might be better because the difficulty won't keep amping up on you every round because you have the round cap, so that's going to make your life a bit easier. You can do this on standard. I recommend you do this on directed though. But this method basically requires you to go through the Easter egg steps until you get to the part where you have to reach the 3 islands. infinite zombie spawns locked in at a single round is going to make your life significantly easier, and that's what we want. For Mystic Gold, you just want to keep killing these zombies. It's going to take time, but it helps if your gun has been pack-a-punched once or twice. I do recommend twice just because it's easier, but it does depend on the type of gun that you're using. If you get to the third island, you can also activate the orb, and that's also going to be an infinite zombie spawn as well. The reason why I like the islands a little more than other areas in Terminus is just because the zombies have less room to move around, and they're not going to go in the water, so you can just keep looping around the island over and over, train them in a certain area, turn around, and just start getting critical kills. So it's a lot easier than some other parts of Terminus. The next Terminus farming method that you can actually do is just stick to the main area in the center. Don't go up, down, anything like that. Terminus does spawn a lot of zombies constantly, and you can just train them, run around a bunch, and then get headshots over and over. Similar to the island, but just in the main area. It's really easy to do, and you're going to find that it might be less annoying than the infinite spawn method if you do ever get bored of that. If you want to go back to the infinite spawns, or you want to go to the islands, you can just keep heading back to any of the islands and play through them. You'll get a mangler and things like that each round pretty much, so you'll be able to get special zombies on those islands as well. However, staying in the starting area helps keep you in a close proximity to pack-a-punch, so you can pack-a-punch your weapon to the max, especially in directed mode, to make your life easier and get kills at a faster rate. It's also just a bit tedious like Liberty Falls' rooftop, but it does work. The secret lab in Terminus where you build the wonder weapon is also another option, though you'll need to be careful. In this room, go to the input sequence in the machine, but don't input anything. Just stand there, and what you're going to notice is that the zombies are spawning from two areas basically only, and that you're standing there so they're ignoring you. Basically, this is just part of the Easter egg. So what's interesting though is that the zombies are spawning and they go outside and they're gathered just outside the door. So once you stop seeing new zombies spawning in, what you want to do is actually just stop trying to input the sequence, turn around, and immediately start firing at the heads, and you'll basically have them all gathered up in one area. Do this over and over, and you'll basically eventually get Mystic Gold pretty easily. It's a bit mind-numbing to do at some point, but it's genuinely one of the easiest ways to do this on Terminus. You also have Pack-a-Punch right next to you. Recommend you get Speed Cola though, because you can reload fast, so you're not caught off guard by the zombies at any point, because if you run out of ammo and the zombies do swarm you, you are in a tight space, you don't have anywhere to run, so Speed Cola is going to prevent you from needing to take too much time to reload. This next method is a super easy one. This is probably one of the best ones that you can do. You can do this in standard or directed on Citadel de Mort, and it's not going to be difficult at all. So basically, if you go into Citadel de Mort on standard, you'll want to farm kills for some time to gain scrap and essence. Even in directed, you want to do the same thing, and you'll want to spawn in with or craft a Molotov in the game. From there, you'll want to head to the castle, just go through the steps to open up the castle, and then you'll lead the zombies over to the oil traps at the two entrances. So you want to open up both entrances. This is an important one because the oil traps cool down, so when one is cooling down, the other is open. When that one's cooling down, the other one is open. So we need the essence to make sure we can open both doors and alternate between each one each time. You can do this in directed mode, and you'll just need to ensure that you're crafting Molotovs constantly. You can also do this in standard, though it's going to be harder just because you're going to get special zombies and elites at some point. So basically, all you have to do is keep crafting the Molotovs, and you want to throw it at the oil traps over and over, and at the same time you can get zombie kills. So in standard mode, you might have to deal with harder zombies, but it will be done in a faster rate because what happens is that the zombies are dying in the trap, you're getting critical kills at the same time, and these critical kills all actually count towards your camo grind. I'm showing you guys here in standard mode. I tried it last night in directed mode as well, and that might actually be easier because you can get up to a certain level, cap it there, and just infinitely keep running through like whatever round you're on over and over, just base zombies and use this method each time. Just be sure to precisely aim at the oil so you don't accidentally overthrow the Molotov and you won't be able to get those critical kills. If the zombies at one point start coming at you from behind, you can actually just pass through the oil. You're gonna take like a little bit of damage, it's not much. The zombies will though come running after you and they'll end up dying in the oil fire trap, so you'll get those critical kills. It's a very easy method, probably the one that I recommend the most, because maintenance wise, the only thing you need to worry about is collecting scrap and making Molotov. So if at one point you run out of scrap, which at the end of the day, like when those zombies are dying in the oil trap, they are still dropping scrap, so you can collect that. But if you do run out of scrap or you need more, you can just take a break from the oil trap thing, kill a bunch of zombies, collect the scrap, go make some more Molotovs. Or what you can do is you can literally just keep going in and out of the game, like just save, quit, start a new save, that kind of a thing. It's just easier than the other methods. I recommend also, if you want to do this and you're prestiging, to try and level up quickly or just use a permanent unlock on it if you don't want to wait that much. For the most part, when it comes to the camo grind, Nebula is very long and a bit tedious, honestly. Getting it done is honestly not the easiest task, and it's going to get boring sometimes. So if you find yourself bored, take breaks or try out a mix of the different methods for each weapon so you can get some variety. For special camos, this depends on each weapon, so just do whatever the special camo tells you to do. This could literally be anything like have a certain ammo mod equipped, kill 30 vermin, whatever it may be, so I can't really comment on that for a general guide, just do the special camo challenges, and then once you get to Mystic Gold, what you have to do is get 10 kills rapidly 15 times. So the way I recommend that you do this is you use the Terminus method, where you don't input the numbers and group the zombies together, or use something like a decoy to get them in one spot. The idea is, in order to do this really fast, get all the zombies gathered in one area and just shoot them as many times as you can. That's the only thing that you really can do to make it really easy, which is why the Terminus method, where you're inputting the numbers but you're not actually inputting them, that's the best one for this point, or the decoys. So I'll wrap things up there. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a like, share this video, and comment below which of these methods you'll be trying. I'm going to be making more camo grinding videos in the future, so be sure to stay tuned for that, and be sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so that when I drop the other videos, you'll be able to see them right away. And that's all for today, folks.